Have you ever been on a server or downloaded a map from the marketplace and thought, man, I wish I could have something like that in my world? Well, me too. I'm Mr. B-Rates1 and this is my brand new series, MC Map Faker. Come join me on this adventure as we try to make our very own map in Minecraft. And with the help of my silent assistant here, we are going to try and implement things for player counts, NPC support, managing lobbies, and much more. Please like and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell to be kept up to date on the series. And we are back once again in our map world. And I think today I want to spruce this place up a bit. Just sort of give it a bit more flair, make it look a lot more nicer. You know, my silent assistant, he's got nowhere to run at the moment. He just keeps jumping off the edge. I want to make this place look nice. I've got an idea in mind. Now, I'm not going to show the actual building side of this. I want this series to be more about the actual commands. So let me put some blocks down and let's come back to it. So with the power of editing, and here we are. Blocks up in place and it looks good, I think. Now, I've not done a lot of terrain building before, but I think it looks good. It's not too bad. I've tried to make it look like the UFO is beaming players down onto the road, and then obviously the players can then run off and go to either side. So we've got the game section on this side, and we have the shops section on this side. Now obviously the shops themselves are not real money shops, they're just going to be, the players will earn currency or some kind of collection from the game section, and then they'll be able to go to the shop section and actually buy some things with what they've earned, which then will allow them to go back and then play their much more harder games. So it's just like a rinse and repeat sort of cycle. I have also added a few, like this bench and this little bin here. In fact, this bin is actually a workable bin. As you can see here, we've got this named bins. And essentially, if we just lift that up, you can see that there's more hoppers there. And that actually goes down to an area which will destroy the items. So if the player genuinely wants to get rid of the item and they don't want it anymore, pop, off it goes. And as you can see, it's gone. It's no longer there, and it's not in there either. It's gone forever. Now, one of the other things that I've tried to do is I've tried to ensure that the player cannot leave this area. So if you notice, everything is too tall. And the idea is that the players can not escape this area without going to either the shops or the games. Now, if by some miracle they do manage to make their way out, if I just take this little barrier block out here for a moment. As you can see, I've placed barrier blocks all the way around the map. So even if they manage to get out, they would never actually manage to get any higher than where the barrier blocks are. Now, if you don't know how to get these barrier blocks, it's quite simple. You go into your chat, you do the usual give command yourself, and then just simply type barrier. And as you can see there, and then you can just give yourself how many, so I don't know, 10. The barrier blocks themselves will only show when it's in your hand. And when you're in actually adventure mode, if I just switch it over here, you can see there are no outlines. It just physically stops the player from walking there. So yeah, I think this is a good start to the spawn point. I mean, when you're down here, obviously as you can see, you can't really see over the top. So we don't need to worry about anything further afield. So now that this area has been built up, I want to come back to this spawn point because it's not completely how I want it to be. We need to make some modifications to this. We need to change something that we did in episode 1 as well to do with the welcome title. Let's just fly up there. Now, as you can see, I've moved it around inside here just to allow for more command blocks to be put inside, because over time... Oh, that was a mistake. Ooh, I'm not very good Minecrafting now. Over time, this will fill up even more, and we're going to need to get more command blocks in here. So, this is the player count that we have on the side. I've just moved it over here, and the ability to remove it and reset it, I've just sort of pushed right up at the back here. So add away. These are not in place yet, but I've placed them down. This is going to control sending people to the different areas. And the welcome message used to be here. Now this has now been moved here. Now the welcome message still exists at these two, but we have had to change this a little bit. So initially I had execute at a tilde or squigglies, as I call them. And then title, and I think I had like at A and then a bunch of coordinates again, or something like I can't remember how it was before. But essentially, the problem we had with that is that it caused a couple of problems because we were not specifying a certain area. What it was doing is was searching every single player in the world and then only executing if that player was here. Now that is a long way around to do the command. That's a lot of processing for no reason at all. So I've changed this command so that it is only searching players that are in this specific area, and then it is displaying the title for them. And this is much more efficient and much better. And I've done the same with the subtitle as well. Exactly the same thing. So after it's done, the welcome message, as we've seen, is exactly the same as it was before. I think I might have changed the colour since the last time you guys saw it. So it's yellow and then blue like that, just sort of match the logo colours. But then I've added an effect, slow falling, because when you get beamed down, you don't necessarily get dropped down. I don't know if you remember my silent assistant. As you can see here, as he's dropping down, splat, he hits the ground hard, takes away a couple of health. So I've decided to add the effect slow falling so that when they arrive, they will slowly come down and survive. As you can see, I've been testing it here, and this is essentially the command for that. So to affect all users in this specific area, give them the slow falling effect, 5 seconds, and it'll be slow falling 3, and true just hides the particles. Now the next bit, I wanted to add sound effects. Now sound effects is actually a lot harder to do because the game gives you no indications for all the sound effects. You either know the names within the game or you don't. Unfortunately, that is the way sound effects and particles work. So luckily I did manage to find a site though that did list them all. I have put a link for that in the description below. In this site, it does list all the names that we need, and it also offers suggestions of mixtures that can create certain sounds. Now, this was defined as magical, this sound, and I just thought magical, excellent. That's exactly what we want for a UFO. This is the command. Playsound beacon.power for all users within those X, Y, Z coordinates, and the DX and the DZ and the DY, it's just basically it's creating an area. So it's saying from X position 5 go on the DX 3 more blocks forward, and it sort of creates like a box area going down the center. It's like a box going all the way down the center of the beam to a certain height, 5 blocks down from the spawn point. Exactly the same command again, but a different noise. This time it's beacon.activate, same coordinate conditions. And the same one again, but this time it's a mob sound, so it's mob.evocation_illager.cast_spell. And with those 3 sounds played together, it makes this really cool magical sound effect. And then lastly, I've added on particle effect. And this is just a very simple command. Particles, I don't know a lot about them. I've not used them that often, but it's the same thing as the sound effects. They don't offer any support at all for that in the game. They just expect you to know the name of it, so there's a link for that as well down below. In this instance, you simply use the totem particles because they're like balls, aren't they? They look like little speckles, like transporter beams or something like that. That's what I sort of got my idea. So then this just displays them within a certain location. And that's all chained together, so that will all happen when the user starts at the spawn point. Now what I've done is I've gone in the beam again. I've set the world spawn even higher than what it was before. So I've set it to level 79, which is just below this glass block. So the user will spawn there, they'll get slow falling, they fall down, they get the welcome message, the noise, and the particles, and they slowly touch down on the ground. In fact, we'll show you that now. If I just change my game mode for a second. You see we're in game mode A. If we just kill ourselves for a moment. Oh, hang on a sec. No. Can't Minecraft today. Kill ourselves for the moment. There we go. And now when we respawn. There we go. We have now beamed back down. And that's what that gives. And that is much better. Now I still might play around with the particles a little bit. I might still see if I can make the particles sort of appear in more places because they're a bit thin on the ground. I'd like it to be a bit more. Maybe even slow the player down even more. I don't know. I don't know yet. But in terms of how I want it to be, that's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. the player slowly comes down and they get these particles around them and the noise. And the thing is though is that the noise itself as well, the noise only plays for one player. So with the help of my silent assistant here, this is what it looks like when another player comes through here. You see that? So you see we didn't hear any sound, we just saw the particles and they just float down. And that is it. Looking fantastic there. After recording this bit, it turns out that was actually a bug, that you couldn't hear the sound of other people coming through. And that in the new latest update 1.16.200, that bug got fixed. And now you do get sound. So everything I just said there was rubbish, so ignore that. And that's it. That's all we've got time for today. Thank you very much for watching the video. Please remember to like and subscribe. And I'll catch you on next time. Bye.